vasamahanya sawasidi humo maguru vajradhara suhumahati muni shahasahane kama uttavadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasidi Pakya Kekudan Dagilu Pakya Kesudahan Dagina Pakya Ketudan Dagi Danyame tu jingilo Makya Kekudan Dagilu Makya Kesudahan Dagina Makya Ketudan Dagi Danyame tu jingilo Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Soha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Soha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Soha Om Maitreya Maitreya Maha Maitreya Arya Maitreya Soha Om Maitreya Maitreya Maha Maitreya Arya Maitreya Soha Om Maitreya Maitreya Maha Maitreya Arya Maitreya Soha Om Ahum Karuna Karuna Maha Karuna Arya Karunaye Soha Om Ahum Karuna Karuna Maha Karuna Arya Karunaye Soha Om Ahum Karuna Karuna Maha Karuna Arya Karunaye Soha. Okay, hello everybody, buon pomeriggio. So, fine, okay. Se c'è qualcuno che non capisce inglese, ci sono le cuffie, va bene, okay? Okay, so today, we're very happy to be here together. Thank you for coming. And what we're going to do, my part of the summer course, we're going to look at and deepen our experience of Lama Gangchen Rinpoche's beautiful 7 medicine Buddha practice, okay? So, Buddhism, okay, was created, what we call Buddhism was created by Gautama Buddha 2,600 years ago as a way to overcome human suffering, okay? All of us, without choice, we have to face aging, sickness, death, not getting what we want. When we get something nice, we lose. So there's many, many difficulties that we have to face in life. So Lord Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, he left the palace in order to find solutions for human suffering, okay? So, anyway, we all know the story, no? Super famous. So anyway, Lord Buddha, he left the palace, yeah? Okay, then he spent 6 years meditating on the nature of his mind, yeah? Researching the inner experience. And after 6 years, he conquered his inner delusions and became a completely awakened one, a Buddha, okay? After 49 days, sitting there thinking, wow, this is really amazing. Maybe nobody will understand what happened, you know, my experience. He was urged by Brahma and Vishnu to get up, yeah, to arise, yeah, and teach, you know, the Dharma, to turn the wheel of Dharma. So then he got up and then he walked towards Varanasi and start his teaching mission, yeah. which, as Lama Rinpoche said, actually was in the form of question and answer. So actually, he would just meet somebody, they would ask him a question, he would give a reply, and gradually came out what is now called the Buddhist Sutras, okay? Anyway, so Buddhism starts like this. The first official teaching of Lord Buddha was called the Four Noble Truth Teaching in Varanasi, given to the 5 ascetics, to the 5 yogis, who were Siddhartha Gautama's former yoga group, okay? Yeah, anyway, so he gave the first teaching to them that, which Lama Rinpoche, the founder of our tradition, he always said, like, our tradition is NgalSo, okay? First part of the word is the first 2 noble truths. There is suffering, yeah? And there is a cause to suffering, yeah? So what that means is, okay, human experience is not brilliant, and we are responsible for our own experience, okay, yeah? So that's the bit we don't like, very difficult to accept, actually, emotionally. But anyway, there you are. But anyway, the so part is the better news, yeah? Which is the 3rd noble truth, which is it's possible to become completely peaceful, completely happy, to reach what we call nirvana, yeah? Which means every day is a good day, whatever happens to us, regardless, we have a peaceful, happy mind, okay, yeah? And the 4th noble truth is there's a way to get there, there's a path, yeah? So that's the good news, yeah? So Lord Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, he showed a path that anybody can follow, yeah? He didn't make it so difficult that we couldn't do it, yeah? So later on this became the Dharma through Indian and Tibetan history, and nowadays it's called Buddhism in the West, okay? So within Buddhism we have the 3 yanas, we have the Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all different ways of practicing, all very beautiful, all very meaningful. And within what we call the Mahayana tradition, the Mahayana is about caring for others, okay, yeah? Actually, Lama Rinpoche always used to say, actually, within the Theravada teachings, anyway, the Mahayana was there. This kind of division, actually, originally was not so rigid, yeah, okay? This was like made in later times, yeah, okay? But anyway, in Buddhism, we've always had a very strong emphasis on caring for others, you know? Because if you think about it logically, yeah, okay, of course, we need to be happy, we need to be healthy, but just me, no? It's not enough, no? Even amongst the people we know, if they're on our friend, our family, you know, our town, our environment, if it's painful, sick, suffering, then of course also our little happiness means nothing now, does it, yeah? So Mahayana Buddhism, Mahayana means great vehicle, so it's like, let's all get in the ship together and go to awakening together. We used to call Rinpoche, you know, Depon Chempo, yeah? Great captain, yeah? This is like a Mahayana idea, you know? That we're in one great vehicle together, all going together, nobody's left behind, you know. So we're all going together, you know, bit slowly or quickly, anyway. All improving bit by bit together, crossing the sea of samsara together, you know, like Rinpoche used to say, juntos podemos, insieme possiamo, because we're all on the same boat, okay, literally, okay. So anyway, so within the Mahayana, the emphasis is on kindness and caring for the others, okay, yeah. So, of course, in the everyday life, there's many ways to do that. Of course, finally, we need to develop the 2 bodhicitta. We need to totally open up our heart, yeah, and develop love, compassion, empathy, and then what's called superior intention. That means I must do something for the others. That becomes like the fundamental principle of my life. I cannot bear not to do anything, yeah. And then bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, and with that mind, yeah, we try and understand the nature of reality. So Buddhism actually is actually quite scientific because it's based on cause and effect, on interdependence, how things exist, how things function, yeah. So it's not actually mystical, actually, it's just based on observing things and the natural process of how things exist and function, yeah, okay. So anyway, so Mahayana Buddhism is this, gradually, with a big, Rinpoche used to say we need to change our small selfish heart into the big open heart of compassion, yeah, each and every one of us, yeah. And with that big open heart, we need to investigate how things exist, how things function, yeah. And with these 2 wings of the, like here, no, this is Garuda, yeah. It's flying to enlightenment, okay, so it needs 2 wings, yeah. So we need the wing of love, compassion, and empathy, and we need the wing of the scientific analysis of reality, yeah? Okay, yeah? So with these two wings, we can elevate our mind, yeah? We can fly to enlightenment bit by bit, yeah? And why we do that is to have more capacity in order to benefit all beings, yeah? Okay? So here we can see, here's a beautiful picture of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, yeah? Okay? Yeah, the founder of the Dharma, founder of Buddhism, yeah? So there's, all this comes from his human experience and then was elaborated by different masters over the centuries, okay? Yeah, who also had their own profound experiences, yeah? So Lama Gangchen Rinpoche, when he first came out of Tibet, you know, and then he went to Sikkim, Nepal, India. He was working as a healer, yeah? And he worked as a healer for many, many years within the Tibetan community and became very famous for that, yeah? He healed many incurably sick people. And then one day, one Italian lady, Giussi Gardenghi, one friend of ours, she was diagnosed as having incurable cancer in Milano, I think, yeah, or Bologna, yeah, Bologna. And so she said, you know what, if I'm going to die, no, perhaps actually, Simona, maybe you can tell the juicy story. Yeah? Simona's from Bologna, maybe you come and tell the story. Yeah? Because if you like, yeah? Però devi venire qui, no? And devi parlare in inglese. But Giussi was one of our Sangha members from Bologna, okay? So here's Simona, who very kindly and very beautifully guides our Bologna Center, so she will tell you better than me the story, yeah? Yeah? Okay, here's the guest microphone.
Never better than you.
So please, Simona, tell us the story of Giussi and how Rinpoche came to Italy.
All the stories that I asked too, because scusate, parlo in italiano. Scusami Cristina.
I'll speak in English. You speak in Italian, I'll translate for Simona, okay?
Giussi Gardenghi io l'ho conosciuta nel 1992 e mi raccontò dopo un po' di tempo che era stata la prima persona a conoscere Rinpoche, le diagnosticarono appunto un cancro e le dissero anche, non so le fonti precise, però le dissero che ci sarebbe stato un lama guaritore che avrebbe potuto fare qualcosa per lei.
So Simona is saying that she first met Giussi Gardenghi in 1992, and Giussi, who lived in Bologna actually, she told Simona that she was the first Italian person, actually first European person who had cancer that met Rinpoche, who received healing from him, yeah?
Lei andò in Nepal, lo rintracciò e gli espose il suo problema, la sua malattia e Rinpoche, come sappiamo bene che faceva, si prese subito cura di lei e adesso non so come l'ha curata, penso con delle pillole, delle medicine, eccetera, e anche con il suo potere di guarigione ovviamente. E le avevano dato pochissimo tempo, qualche mese di vita, e invece è morta poi nel 2015 mi sembra, o 2018, non mi ricordo bene, comunque 20 anni dopo.
Di più, no? 26 anni dopo.
Eh sì, ci ha messo tantissimo tempo.
So
quindi...
Simona is saying that Giussi, she was actually the Italian doctors, when she was diagnosed with cancer, they said it's a very serious case and they only gave her a few months to live. So she said, you know what, I prefer to die in Nepal, in India. So she went to Nepal, and there she met Rinpoche, Khenchen Rinpoche. And Rinpoche, with his healing methods, through Tibetan medicine, also with his special meditation methods, he cured her. So finally, instead of living 3 months, as the Italian doctors predicted, she actually died in 2015.
Non mi ricordo
18, no?
Forse nel 2018.
So she lived 26 years more than the and 3 months more than the doctors said she was going to do, okay?
E poi è stata sempre, non l'ha mai più lasciato Rinpoche, è sempre stata in contatto con lui, l'ha invitato in Italia E poi sappiamo la storia di Rinpoche che venne per la prima volta con Claudio e con Monica, la nostra Monica del cantante.
So then Juicy never ever was always in touch with Rinpoche. Obviously, was very grateful, you know. And then she was the first person to invite Rinpoche to Italy. Yeah, okay. And so she organised Rinpoche trip here to Italy, and the rest is history, actually. Yeah?
Sì.
And here we are later, many years later, with all these incredible things, you know. But Simona says the first time she met Rinpoche was together with Claudio Cipulo and with Monica Benvenuti, our dear friends here.
No, Claudio Cipulo, Claudio Bianchi.
Oh, sorry, Claudio Bianchi.
Sì,
Yeah,
sì.
Okay. Anyway, our Monica Benvenuti, our big
sì.
friend here who works in our shop, actually. She brought Rinpoche, actually, also to Brazil, actually, but another story.
Sì, dal Brasile. E poi niente, poi io l'ho rincontrato in Italia nel 91 e nel 92 poi avevo una storia mia personale, gli ho chiesto rifugio a Velletri al ritiro di Tara Bianca e da allora anch'io l'ho seguito sempre. In realtà da quando l'ho conosciuto la prima volta l'ho seguito, ma dovevo capire prima di chiedergli rifugio, quindi ho aspettato un pochino.
So then Simona says actually, you know, when she first met Rinpoche, of course she liked to check if they have, you know, good feeling, good connection, you know, as you should actually, it's correct, yeah. And then she took refuge with Rinpoche in 1992 in Velletri in the White Tara retreat, and also since then she followed him, and actually she is doing a very good job actually with our Bologna group. Since then, continuing and with our United Peace Voices and everything. So thank you very much, Simona. Thank you. Appreciate a lot. Yeah.
Your work is
also,
very precious.
She's running our Zoom group actually, our Italian Zoom group, yeah, for the Medicine Buddha. Grazie, Simona. Yeah.
Grazie.
You know, so. Anyway, better, you know, all these things are true, you know, so anyway, this true, you know, so this lady, Rinpoche, cure her of incurable cancer, she invited her to Europe, and then Rinpoche start to go around in Europe, and then in South America, also Monica actually invite Rinpoche to Brazil, that's another story, yeah. And so for the first 10 years, Rinpoche was going around healing very seriously ill people with very serious physical and mental problems, yeah. Up to about 1990, actually, yeah, okay, yeah, 1991, yeah. So then, when at that time, the early time, Rinpoche was teaching Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakyamuni Soha, and the 4 limitless thoughts, okay, which is, may all beings have happiness and its causes, may all beings be free from suffering and its causes, may all beings never be separated from the great happiness that is beyond all misery, and may all beings dwell in equanimity, unaffected by attraction to dear ones and aversion to others, yeah? So that was it, yeah, plus singing, yeah, singing mantras, yeah, for the first 10 years. And gradually Rinpoche healed many people. So Rinpoche always used to say his first disciples were his patients, actually, except Simona, yeah, but anyway, yeah. But most of the people came there because they need some help, yeah, to meet Rinpoche, and so he formed his spiritual community, yeah. So so then, actually we did anyways, this Rinpoche's healing methods worked marvelously well, many people got better. And Rinpoche said at that time he was also checking if his spiritual healing tradition was suitable for Western actually, but not just Western, but modern people, you know, people out of Tibetan society, yeah. So after 10 years he concludes that it was, and then in 1992, in front of the Borobudur Stupa in Indonesia, he requests permission to his spiritual teachers and the Guru Buddhas if he could open his tradition and start to share with us. Then he start to share self-healing, yeah? First beautiful, and then making peace with the environment. And after that, next what he did actually was this practice of the Medicine Buddha, yeah? Because he said, actually, you know, like Chenrezig Buddha has 1,000 hands, okay? And he said, me by myself, what can I do? I'm one person, so I actually need 1,000 hands, or even 10,000 hands, like Dukkha, actually, even more. And, you know, many of us need to work together to heal the world, yeah? So he said, I'd like to share this healing tradition, and this is not my personal idea. This was Lord Buddha Gautama Buddha's idea, yeah? He founded the Dharma, what we call Buddhism, to find a solution to human suffering. And not just for a few people, like kind of academic people or people went to the Himalayan monastery. Or, no, for everybody, you know. If we look in the stories of the Lord Buddha's life, he met everybody, you know. Rich, poor, young, old, people from all classes of society, yeah. And to each one he gave a reply that helped them according to their mental capacity, according to their ability, okay? So Rinpoche, like Khenchen Rinpoche said, I like to do the same in the modern times, okay? And so therefore he opened his tradition. And so one of the things he did is make this beautiful practice of what we now call the rainbow of healing nectars, the 7 medicine Buddhas, which I'd like to share with you these days, okay? Which would be my privilege, you know, to do so, okay? Okay, so here on the screen, this is a tanka that we have actually here in our center. This is, in the center is Medicine Buddha, the blue one. The blue is, actually, the Medicine Buddha is called King of Lapis Menla, means men is medicine, La is Lama, yeah, okay? So Medicine Guru, yeah? And King of Lapis Lazuli, light is his name, okay? So we regard all Buddhas as, let's say, as manifestations of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, okay? So it's a little bit like an actor, you know. I don't know, let's say, I don't know who, Brad Pitt, I don't know, Robert De Niro, an actor, yeah, any actor, yeah. So they play many, many different roles, yeah, and you know, okay, so they assume different aspects according to the film, no? So Lord Buddha Shakyamuni manifests in many different ways according to what was needed, yeah, okay? So in order to bring healing, yeah, to the sick and to those who are physically sick, to those who are suffering mentally, and also to help our times, which is called the degenerate time of the Kali Yuga, which is the present time, yeah? Lord Buddha Shakyamuni manifests as Medicine Buddha, and which I'll explain to you in a little bit, and as the 7 medicine Buddhas, what we call the 7 medicine Buddhas, okay? Yeah? Why? Anyway, maybe I'll tell you the story now, okay? 1 second, I'll get the story, yeah? Okay? So, even though, of course, we believe in progress, and of course, definitely some things are better than the Middle Ages, no doubt, you know, dentistry, and definitely some things are much better. I personally would not like to live in the Middle Ages, you know, like we have like some wonderful things in our modern time, but they say in many things are degenerating in our modern times. Like, for example, the environment, this we know, no? This is our major problem now, yeah? Our environment is very damaged because of our overpopulation, no? And the overconsumption of everything, okay? So we have a degeneration of the environment, we have a degeneration of the attention span, actually. So we know this is totally true. You just have to, by the way, please can everybody switch off their smartphone while they're in the Gompa, yeah? Yeah? Our attention span is getting less and less. Nobody, you know, we can see since they were introduced some years ago, no? People's capacity for memory is getting worse and worse. So this is considered in Dharma to be one of the signs of the degenerate times, actually, okay? So, okay, some things in our time is good, you know, and actually Lama Gangchen Rinpoche, he said when he first came to the West, he said, you know, all you need to do, we, yeah, is change the position of your mind a little bit, yeah? You know, then actually your world can become Shambhala or more than Shambhala, yeah? Because actually we have so many things already, but we need to, okay, some things we need to change, yeah, okay? Like some attitudes we need to change. Rinpoche used to say, we have a big missing part, you know, like missing love, missing compassion, missing lots of things, yeah, okay? Missing feeling for the element, feeling for the environments, and so on, yeah, okay? So he said, these things we need to recover, yeah? Either through new means or by looking back to ancient cultures, such as Tibetan culture or European culture, but anyway, we need to recover the missing part and put our mind on the right path, and then our modern world will become more than Shambhala. Shambhala is this hoped-for pure world, you know, where everybody cooperates and lives in peace, that we Buddhists wish for and hope will come in the future, you know, yeah, okay? So anyway, Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, in his time, okay, they didn't have okay, of course, there's samsara, no, they had problems with war, they had problems with famine, but not like now, you know. Now, actually, we have much more severe problems with war, with famine, with overuse of natural resources, of corruption. So in many, many ways, our modern society is very troubled, very problematic, yeah? So, okay, now let me get out my text, yeah? So, okay, let me tell you the actual story, yeah? Okay? So, Lord Buddha, after he achieved awakening, yeah? His first official teaching was called the Four Noble Truths, yeah? He gave that teaching in Varanasi, okay, to the 5 ascetics. But as Lama Rinpoche used to always point out, actually before that, on the way to Varanasi, the Buddha, he met 2 Burmese businessmen, and they recognized the Buddha as a special person, so they immediately said, oh, can you help us to make more money? Yeah, can you help us to improve our business? So the Buddha said, yes, of course. And he explained astrology to them, yeah? Now we have like a booklet, no? Yeah, with all this kind of astrology puja. So Rinpoche always used to say, actually that was the Buddha first teaching, but the official first teaching is the Four Noble Truths, yeah? Okay, which is incredibly important, the basis of Theravada Buddhism and so on, yeah? Lord Buddha's second great cycle of teachings was called the Prajna Paramita, the perfection of wisdom, and he gave that at Mass Vulture's Mountain in Rajgir in Bihar State, yeah, okay? So now we have what we call the Prajna Paramita Sutra, the Heart Sutra, all those kind of things. So the Prajna Paramita is actually what the Buddha actually thought, yeah, okay? So it's like how to actually free your mind from suffering, yeah, okay? So we have the Heart Sutra. These days, no, we have the monks repeating the Heart Sutra. Also, Lama Rinpoche asked us, please, to meditate on that as much as we can, yeah, in order to pacify our suffering, yeah. Anyway, the second cycle of teachings was called the Perfection of Wisdom, okay. And then sometime later, because actually Lord Buddha Shakyamuni lived a long time, no? He achieved awakening, aged 35, yeah, and he lived to be around 80, so he had 45 years to go around teaching, yeah. You know, so like for example in Christianity, great holy being Jesus Christ, he had 2-3 years, to teach, and now we have incredible tradition. Lord Buddha Shakyamuni had like 15 times longer, yeah. So of course we have huge corpus of of Dharma texts, because 45 years is a long time, yeah, okay. So anyway, the first cycle is the Four Noble Truths, so incredibly important. All of this we need to try and understand and to practice, yeah. Second cycle of teachings is the Prajna Paramita, yeah, from which comes Madhyamika, the Prajna, all kinds of incredible things, yeah, okay, what we need to actually understand, yeah, okay. The third cycle of teachings, Lord Buddha taught in a place called Vaisali, okay, yeah, and that's the time, this is like later on in the Buddha's life, and this is the time when he also taught about medicine, yeah. So let me tell you the story, okay. Okay, so in the Sutra of Medicine, yeah, okay, it says that one time when Lord Buddha arrived at Vaisali, yeah, together with his monks, nuns, his followers, men and, lay people, men, women, all kinds of followers, yeah, he sat down, rested under what was called the tree of music, yeah, okay. So all kinds of humans and non-humans gathered around Lord Buddha, yeah, in order to listen to his teaching of the Dharma, okay, yeah? Yeah? So, how do you say, yeah? So this tree is called the tree of music because as the wind goes through it, all kinds of incredible peace messages, positive messages come out through the sound of the trees, yeah? It's a bit like in the Kumpan, no, in Milano, actually we have here in Agompa. This Rinpoche, one of the first things he did was make this tree of peace, and on all the leaves, Ducho, Rinpoche painter, he paints the word peace in 176 languages, yeah, okay? So it's like the idea as the wind blows through the tree, messages of peace, messages of harmony, this kind of message is coming, yeah, from the rustling of the leaves on the tree, yeah, okay? Anyway, so the Buddha was sat under this the tree of music, yeah? And at that time, Manjusri, the bodhisattva of wisdom, yeah? Okay? He got up and he said, so, the Lord Buddha, he had different kinds of followers. He had like monk here, we could see, no? This is Maud Galyana and Shariputra, like the leaders of the male Sangha. Then there was a female Sangha, and there was, anyway. many nuns as well. And then there were what we call the bodhisattvas, those on the Mahayana path. We have another picture over in the Gompa over there, yeah? So the bodhisattvas are Manjusri, Chenrezig, Vajrapani, Maitreya, Samantabhadra, super famous, no? So, yeah? So each one had a special quality, like Chenrezig is the bodhisattva of compassion, Manjusri is the one of wisdom, and so on, yeah? So Manjusri, whose name means gentle speech, yeah? Gentle speech, got up and asked Lord, he said, please Buddha, in the future, because he's very smart now, he's very intelligent, yeah? So it said, Manjusri said, looks like in the future things will get worse, yeah? Yeah, this 2,600 years ago, yeah? Yeah? It seems that in the future, the environment will degenerate, yeah? People's minds will get worse, they'll become more rigid, more, more prejudiced, yeah? People's mental and physical faculties will decline, yeah? Their negative emotions will increase, yeah? Their concentration will decrease, and also their health will decline. So, please, Buddha, what can we do to help those people? Yeah, please give some healing method for those future generations who will experience many difficulties, yeah? Yeah? So, the Buddha said, yes, of course, Manjusri, of course, yeah? So out of compassion, yeah, Lord Buddha emanated, yeah, the 7 medicine Buddhas, yeah, okay? Yeah, so actually in this picture, if you notice, there's actually 8 of them, yeah? So there is Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni, who is actually on the top right, holding a bowl, yeah? That's Lord Buddha Shakyamuni. And then there are the 7 medicine Buddhas, yeah? So out of the 7 chakra, the 7 energy center of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, he manifests these 7 menlas, the 7 medicine Buddhas, yeah? Yeah, and he said these 7, yeah? He said these 7 Buddhas, yeah, in past ages, they made many promises that in the future time, when things are very difficult and the environment is hard, society is difficult, yeah, these 8 Buddhas, so 7 medicine Buddhas and Shakyamuni Buddha, they promised to take care, yeah, okay? And all those who will recite their name with faith and connect with them, yeah, they will come under their protection, yeah, okay? So anyway, so Lord Buddha so this mandala of the 7 medicine Buddhas manifests from the heart, from the chakras of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, okay, yeah? Okay. So this is how it came about, because you might say, well, where did these 7 Buddhas come from, yeah, okay? So at that time in Vaisali, under the tree of music, Lord Buddha manifests them, yeah, okay? So in the center is the medicine, Geraldo, can you just put down a little bit? Okay, the blue one is this one here, this is the medicine Buddha, yeah? Blue, the color of lapis lazuli, and all this we will explain these days, yeah? He's holding a special healing plant called Mirobalam or Triphala, which balances the 3 humas, the 3 doshas, or, yeah? Also, lapis lazuli has also the ability to balance the 3 humas, yeah? And, so Lord Buddha manifests the medicine Buddha and also the pure land of the medicine Buddha, yeah? Actually, Geraldo, can you put the picture of the pure land of the medicine Buddha on the screen, please? Yeah? Is the one like a mandala, like a square picture? Okay, so this is called Sudarshana, which means beautiful to behold, yeah? This is the pure land of the medicine Buddha. So when a Buddha appears, yeah, an awakened one, they have like the purity of, they have the purity of their body and mind, yeah, the purity of action, and also the purity of their environment. So all Buddhas, they inhabit what we call a Shinkang or pure land, yeah, okay? So the medicine Buddha inhabits this pure environment called Sudarsana, which is the land, the mandala of medicine, okay? So in this practice that we're going to do, we're going to invoke the energies of the medicine Buddhas and all the healers and all the medicine energies from Sudarsana, and Lama Gangchen said a link with our present reality. Yeah, okay. So actually, this is a tanka which is from the Mensikang in Lhasa. Yeah. So many times we went together with Lama Gangchen Rinpoche. Kindly took us around in Tibet to visit many lamas, many doctors, many different healers, yeah? So in the Tibetan Mensikang, they teach medicine through a series of 80 tanka or paintings, yeah? Okay, they also, of course, they have many, many texts, but they have it all in a visual form, yeah? So this is the first tanka of medicine, and this is Lord Buddha, yeah? And around are the medicine Buddhas. There's all the different deities of healing, yeah? For example, I don't know if you can see, there's like, on the top left, there's Ganesh, yeah? Then there's Agni, there's all the different like Hindu gods, yeah, who have powers of healing, yeah? And then there's many different famous doctors, like Jivaka, the Buddha's doctor, many powerful rishis who understood the medical tradition, who understood Ayurveda, who understood Vedic astrology, and so on, because in our tradition, medicine and astrology go together, okay? Yeah? Okay, so they live in this incredible palace. Actually, it's incredibly beautiful, with made of like, it's a bit like the Alhambra of Granada, yeah, full of many, many beautiful crystal pillars or in different jewels, yeah, incredibly well, with many gardens, many, many different channels of different medicine nectars. Okay, and then around are these beautiful gardens, and around in the beautiful gardens are all the different substances for preparing medicine. So they grow around, yeah, the palace, yeah. So. So anyway, this is all inside Rinpoche's sadhana. Today is just a little bit like a preview, okay? So for example, the medicine Buddha Pure Land, Sudarshana, actually is in the east, yeah, where the sun rises. For example, here in our Temple of Heaven, it's very easy to understand the directions because it's painted on the ceiling, yeah? So the white side here, this is where the sun rises, yeah? So anyway, on the east side of the universe is the Sudarshana Medicine Buddha Pure Land, yeah, okay? And actually, this last few months I've had the pleasure to do a retreat of this practice together with many friends, and Lama Gangchen friend and disciple around the world, so we've been doing in many, many different languages. And we have a very beautiful group called Medicine Buddha Group Center in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, which is led by Mr. Kok, yeah? A very old-time disciple of Lama Gangchen Rinpoche, and also a very, very good practitioner of Medicine Buddha. Medicine Buddha is his practice, yeah? So he told me many beautiful, interesting things, but in our, let's say, our vision of the Pure Land of the Medicine Buddha, it's on the east side where the sun rises, yeah? So Mr. Kok, he was saying that actually, you know, about 100 years ago, maybe 150 years ago, 200 years ago in Chinese society, there was a movement where in Chinese society they adopt like the Medicine Buddha as their Buddha, you know, yeah, okay? And he said before that, so they said in Chinese society they had Medicine Buddha in the east and Amitabha Buddha in the west. Yeah, because we all know the Chinese, they're doing Om Amitabha, yeah, Namo Amitabha all the time, yeah. So he said actually there were two Buddhas taking care of Chinese society, yeah. And he said before they got into Medicine Buddha, actually everything was incredibly difficult and they were very poor, yeah, okay. But he said when there was this big, widespread practice of the Medicine Buddha, their society really improved and grew a lot, you know. And it was really impressionante, you know, the difference in their society, you know. So I thought that was really interesting, actually, you know. You know, so the Eastern people, they adopted Medicine Buddha as their own, yeah, okay, because they thought they were nearer to Sudarshana, yeah, okay. So anyway, so around it, there's these many beautiful gardens, and in the our Buddhist medical tradition, what does it compose of? Well, it composes of many incredible things. It consists of the Ayurveda tradition of India. It's composed of Chinese medicine. It's composed of Persian and Greek medicine. And why is it composed of all these things? Because in the 8th century, there was a very kind of great Tibetan emperor called Songtsen Gampo, who was kind of, it was kind of like the Renaissance period of Tibet. You know, like in Europe, we had the Renaissance in Italy, and around the, 15th century, no? Yeah? 15th, 16th century was the Risorgimento, no? Yeah? So in Tibet, they had their Renaissance in the 8th century, so their emperor, Songtsen Gampo, he invited Padmasambhava, you know, the great tantric master, to develop Buddhism. He got Tomi Sambhota to make them a language, you know, based on Kashmiri, yeah, so they could write down the Buddhist teachings, yeah. He invited many doctors and healers to Tibet, yeah, from India, from China, from Persia, and Greek doctors, yeah. So mixed all that together, added Buddhism on top, and now we have Tibetan healing tradition, okay, yeah. So that's why the first image of Tibetan Buddhism, Tibetan medicine, is the medicine Buddha, yeah, because it's showing that actually, you know, to be a healer, one needs to do the practice of the medicine Buddha, yeah, okay? So, you know, so that means, for example, that means also if we want to be a healer, any kind of healer, there's many levels. Also, we need to try and embody the ideal of a bodhisattva, you know? I mean, in the West we have, Elkanah, what's it called? The doctor's code, what is it called? What's it called? You always say, I don't harm anybody, the doctor's code of the West. In the West we have the Hippocratic Oath, right, yeah, for healers, yeah, you know? Yeah, so in our Buddhist tradition, healers have to abide by the bodhisattva vows, okay, which we all actually have to abide by, you know? But that means we should not be attracted to this samsaric world, and we should try and evolve, no? We should put the others first and try and be generous, ethical, patient, always have energy to help the others, concentration and wisdom, yeah? So we should, helping others should be our spiritual practice, yeah? Okay? So that's the ethos of medicine, okay, in the Tibetan tradition, yeah? Which Lama Gangchen Rinpoche himself totally embodied, yeah? Okay? So anyway, this is Sudarshana, yeah, together with all the gods and deities and masters of healing, okay? And around are the different plants, yeah? So in the Ayurvedic tradition, in Tibetan medicine, the environment has a big effect on the property of medicines, yeah? So, in Tibetan paintings, by the way, up and down is east, hang on, is that right? No, it's north-south. Up at the top is the, have I got this right? Oh, no, forgotten now. Oh, no, east is down, yeah? Or east, south, west, and north. Usually it's like that, yeah? Okay? So it looks different from a Western picture, okay? So the bottom, yeah, see where the yellow door is, yeah? Yeah? Down, this is the east door, which means over there where the sun rises, okay? Now, of course, we know that the sun is circling around, okay, apparently, according to our point of view, no? It goes from the east, and we see in the south, yeah? Like in the summer, then the west and the north, yeah? So each season is giving a different kind of, and each direction, no? The plants are getting a different kind of energy, yeah? So actually they use this a lot these days, and what's it called? I've forgotten anyway. Anyway, some healing traditions, they're using this, you know, like, for example, the plants on the south side, yeah, okay? They get more sun energy, yeah, okay? So they have more of a hot quality, yeah? So what they're good for is pacifying cool nature sickness, yeah, okay? The plants on the north side, which have a more cold, like here, no? For example, up there, up the mountains, more cold feeling, no? So the plants, they absorb this cold energy, so they're good for pacifying heat sickness, okay, yeah? So there's this idea of creating balance and harmony through the elements, yeah, okay? So anyway, so this is a massive subject, yeah, incredibly interesting, yeah? How to bring balance, yeah, okay? So there's the whole of the healing tradition, which is very fascinating, it's about trying to bring the 5 elements and what we call the 3 dosha, the 3 humor, wind, bile and phlegm, yeah, into balance, yeah, okay? Incredibly profound and interesting subject, yeah, okay? And in Lama Gangchen Rinpoche, there's a basic introduction in his book, Rainbow of Healing Nectars, an introduction to that. But what we're going to do these days is look at the healing practice that Lama Gangchen Rinpoche made to accompany that, yeah? Okay? So, of course, if we're ill, I mean, actually the Tibetan point of view is first we should try and take care of ourselves by taking care of our own diet and our behavior and emotions, yeah? Okay? But this, of course, we need to understand a little bit because already this is difficult for modern people, There's so much, in the Kali Yuga, there's so much conflicting information, yeah? Okay? But anyway, through the Ayurveda, the Tibetan medical teachings, explains very clearly about the 3 humor and the 5 elements and how to eat according to our own biotype, yeah? And how to bring ourselves back into balance through our diet, yeah? Through our behavior, yeah? So, for example, now it's like super, super hot, yeah? Okay, so if we go out all the time, cooking ourselves under the sun, yeah, eventually what we'll get is a headache, yeah? As the bile energy increases, So we have to each time try and bring ourselves back into balance, yeah? For example, stay in the shade, do cooling things, eat cooling foods, Don't eat fried something with chili, yeah, at the moment in midsummer, yeah? Otherwise it's coming like bile problem, a headache, yeah? And so on, yeah? Liver problem, yeah? Anyway, we try and take care of our Rinpoche. Lama Gangchen said our own health is in our own hands, okay? So we try and take care of our own diet and behavior. This should be like the first line of defense, okay? If we can't do that, then finally, okay, then we should go to the doctor. And we in the West, we tend to do it the other way around, no? And sort of give up our personal responsibility and just run to the doctor, no? Isn't it, yeah? Anyway, so already the point of view is very different. We are responsible for our own health and well-being, yeah, okay? So we should try and take care. Okay, of course, if there's something wrong, we take care of our diet, we take care of our behavior, take care of our emotions. If we need, we go and see a therapist, all kinds of different therapists, many, yeah? So usually that helps most kind of problem, yeah, okay? However, there's some kind of sicknesses that spiritual help is very beneficial, okay? Yeah, there's a whole class of sicknesses that spiritual help and prayer is helping. Actually, probably I'll say all of them, actually, yeah? Rinpoche used to say that nowadays we have many, many missing parts, yeah, okay? So, I don't know, many missing energies, yeah? Even just the energy of love and compassion, yeah? I think, anyway. So, we have this practice called Medicine Buddha, which is incredibly helpful and beneficial to bring ourselves back into balance, yeah, okay? And we can also use it for ourselves, for our friend, our family, for anybody who needs, So it's a really, really, really useful practice. We can do for ourselves, we can do for our pets, yeah, for whoever, So whether you just want to do it for your own purpose because you don't feel well, or your family member or your friend is not well, or your pet is not well, or if you think I'd really like to become a healer, yeah, then this Medicine Buddha practice is incredibly useful, okay? Okay, so, Geraldo, please can you put the practice on the screen, okay? Okay, today we're going to put the practice in Italian because we're in Italia, okay? So, This book, this practice is that we have already in English in our shop, yeah? So any friends who are unable, anyway, Mary Christina is translating in English, okay? And it's also, I think this is on the second channel of our streaming. People can follow this, okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start to do this practice together. We'll stop bit by bit and we'll do the practice. So these last few months I've been going through all Lama Gangchen Rinpoche's teachings about Medicine Buddha. And now we put together, let's say, the final version. Just a few little things that actually to improve, because some bits that we made this practice actually in 2003, okay, Rinpoche to do, we make that in 2003 in Milano, okay, yeah. But now actually, because I had the job to write down Rinpoche's teachings, now I can understand Tibetan, so a few things we needed to edit, you know. So now it's the final version, and Tiziana, our dear friend Tiziana, is making an audio version of this, okay? So anyway, I'll read it in English, okay, for our friends who can't read Italian, yeah? So it says, rainbow of healing nectars, yeah? Self-healing practice of NgalSo, means relaxation and regeneration of the 7 medicine Buddhas, okay? Okay, our tradition, which comes from Lama Gangchen Rinpoche, is called NgalSo, yeah? Actually, NgalSo is not something that Rinpoche himself made up. It's a very interesting stream of thought within the yogic tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, yeah? That goes back to Maitri Yogi, to Drupal Lotsawa, to Nagarjuna, to anyway, there's very many famous lamas of the past have actually taught this idea of NgalSo, how to relax the body and mind, yeah? Okay. So this picture here is a beautiful picture made by Ducho, Rinpoche painter. Can you put it up, please, yeah? Actually, this painting was actually commissioned by Dino, who runs the Medicine Buddha Center in Torino, yeah, okay? Since many, many years, as you know, we have Medicine Buddha Center in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and we also have Medicine Buddha Center in Torino, okay? So Dino, who is also a healer, yeah, many, many years ago, he spoke with Rinpoche, no? And Ducho paint for Dino this beautiful picture of Medicine Buddha, because Menla means Medicine Buddha, together with your guru, okay? From our Vajrayana point of view, this is completely the correct way to do these kind of healing practices, yeah? If we see the Buddha and the spiritual teacher as separate, there's something not working. It's like there's the energy is not there, like there's no, this is not on, no, the power cable, yeah? If we see the Guru and the Medicine Buddha together, or the Guru Buddha together, then the stream of inspiration and healing is there, yeah? So this is actually a very nice tradition within Vajrayana Buddhism. I've seen several pictures, actually, of Lama Gangchen's gurus painted in this way, like, for example, Kyabje Song Rinpoche, yeah? Painted on as different Buddhas, yeah? So this is actually something for the close disciples, yeah, but we just like very much, so we put on the cover, yeah? So there is Medicine Buddha, down is the Medicine Buddha, blue made of lapis lazuli light, yeah? Lapis lazuli has this quality of balancing the 3 dosha, wind, bile and phlegm, yeah? In Ayurveda we have these 3 things, no? Wind is the energy of the nervous system, yeah, okay? Mainly for us it's like anxiety, yeah, stress, yeah, okay? Then there's the hot and cool energies of the body. These 3 we need to bring into balance, yeah? These 3 doshas, okay? So the lapis lazuli, this precious healing stone, it has this ability to bring these 3 doshas into balance, yeah, okay? Why? Because it has, one is like this kind of blue cooling quality, like Akshobhya Buddha, yeah, okay? And inside it has like white and gold stones, yeah? It has like pyrite and something white, yeah? So it's like the sky, the sun, the stars and the sun together, the sun, the moon and the sky, yeah? The 3 doshas are balanced within this healing stone, yeah? So since many, thousands of years actually, lapis lazuli has been considered a very important healing ingredient in medicine, actually, in the Ayurvedic tradition, yeah? Actually, here in our Gompa, in the Temple of Heaven on Earth, one of the many incredible things that Lama Gangchen Rinpoche commissioned was he had our Buddhas painted in jewel paints, yeah, okay? So actually, our Akshobhya Buddha here in our Gompa is actually painted with lapis lazuli, yeah? So if you want to know what it looks like, you can afterwards, please feel free to go and look at the Akshobhya Buddha here, yeah, okay? And also maybe feel something, yeah? You know? Anyway, okay. Can we go back to the... actually, there's many beautiful illustrations of one friend and... one very good friend and long-time Dharma practitioner, Elder from Brazil. He's graphic artist, so he made many of... He took... we asked Ducho permission, no? Ducho said yes, of course, because Ducho's a very generous person, yeah? And then we modify a little bit Ducho image to make the missing images for the sadhana, yeah? Okay, so anyway, so there's Medicine Buddha, Menla, Medicine Guru, yeah, which in our case is Rinpoche, no? In the Sudarshana Pure Land, behind are the snow mountains, in front of the lakes, and there are all the different medicine plant around, okay? Can you please put the sadhana, please? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, and this is anyway, bit by bit we explain what are all these beautiful images, yeah? Okay? Okay, can we go to the beginning, please? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do, okay, preliminary practices. All we who come to Albagnano, our Dharma centers around the world, we know what they are, okay? Okay, so this we will do together, okay? The preliminary, actually these days Lama Michel Rinpoche is explaining the preliminary practices, okay? So very good, yeah? Okay? So let's do this together, refuge, bodhicitta, putting the mind in the right space to really, to grow, to evolve, to become a healer, okay? So let's follow this together, okay? Namo Guru Bhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru Bhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru Bhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Triratnaya. When we do the refuge prayer, yeah, what we call the field of merit, that means where we can accumulate positive energy. There's actually two fields of merit. One is all the Guru Buddhas in front of us, and then around us are all sentient beings, yeah? So these are our two fields of merit, yeah? And there we can grow up and develop positive energies, okay? So in front of us is, well, it depends on what we can manage, no? First thing is just visualize one's own guru. Who is one's own guru, yeah? If not, we can visualize Medicine Buddha. If best, we can visualize the guru together with Medicine Buddha, which is why we have this combined image of our guru together with Medicine Buddha. And if we can manage it, we can visualize, the 7 Medicine Buddhas and all the rishis and all the deities and the Sudarsana palace with all the beautiful jewels and crystals and healing substances. Depends on, anyway, one beautiful vision in front of us, okay? So we take refuge in Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, yeah, okay? So taking refuge in Buddha means we recognize our own potential for awakening, yeah? Each one of us has Buddha nature, yeah? Okay? But we need to we need to develop it more, okay? Yeah? But each one of us has that potential, yeah? Okay? Taking refuge in Dharma. Dharma means what lifts us up emotionally, okay? Yeah? So, for example, instead of being nervous, if we're patient, that's Dharma and so on, yeah? Okay, there's many, many kinds of Dharma realizations, a huge number actually, 84,000 that we need to develop. Of course, we already have some good mental quality, all of us, but we need some more, yeah? Okay, so gradually our mind is more supported, and yeah, okay? And then Sangha is spiritual community, so the actual Sangha actually is on that picture that we looked at in the beginning, yeah? So that means the assembly of awakened ones, the assembly of bodhisattvas, the assembly of arhat, those who understood reality. This is the real Sangha, yeah? Okay? Then actually somehow we do rely on each other, the spiritual, the Chusog, the Dharma community, we rely on each other for support, yeah? Because it's easier to practice together, So anyway, there's many, many levels of Sangha, yeah? Okay? And gradually as we develop our understanding of Dharma, as we open our heart and become more wise and so on, we become a Sangha jewel. As we develop our realizations, then what we do is help the others, right, yeah? So we take refuge in the outer 3 jewels and we try and embody the 3 jewels ourselves, okay? So that's what, so each prayer is very incredibly profound and meaningful actually, and a lot to do, yeah? Okay? Yes, Elkanella?
You say that there
Yeah. Okay, so field of merit, why it's called a field of merit is because we plant the seeds, yeah, of positive energy, okay? So the first one is all the Guru Buddhas, yeah, okay, because we make offerings to the Buddhas and we request their inspiration, yeah? And the second field of merit is everybody else, because where we need to practice is with everybody else, you know, yeah? So we need to practice being kind and generous and helping and taking care with everybody else, yeah, okay? So that's why there's two. You know, this is the Mahayana way of thinking, isn't it? This actually, it's like 50-50 actually, you know, yeah? Yeah? So, you know, so yes, just sit there, but also go and help somebody, you know, yeah? This is what we do, no, yeah? Must, you know, get off our, meditate, yeah? Grow inside, and then get off our cushion and help somebody, you know? Help as many people as we can, and each one, we have different possibility to do that, but whatever we have, we should do, no? Okay, so anyway. Refuge. Next, please, the 7 limitless thoughts, yeah, okay? Geraldo, please. Okay, so around us is all sentient beings, you know, so there's even if our mother and father pass away, anyway, we put our mother, our father, our grandmother, the close ones very close to us, yeah, around, and then we have all our friends, our family, all around, you know, and those we like, those we don't like, those we don't know. Anyway, all people in our town, our city, our country, our continent, our world, yeah, like zillions of people, no, all around us. We imagine them all actually as, in this kind of visualization, we imagine them all as human actually, even if they're a fish or something, to create a positive interdependence for them to evolve, yeah, okay? Yeah, so even if you have a pet cat or dog or something, you imagine they're human, yeah? To give an impression for them in the future to grow, yeah, okay? Anyway, so all of them, we imagine they're all around us, yeah? And now what we do is we say this, used to be the 4 limitless, okay? May all beings have happiness and its causes, yeah? Okay, so happiness and its causes is so important because all of us, we want to be happy. Everybody in the world wants to be happy. But unfortunately, most of us have no idea what the cause of happiness is because, okay, we think we do, you know, okay, we're educated, you know, I don't know, I need to do this, that and the other, study, buy this, do that, do the pattern of society, and if I do that, I will be happy, yeah? And of course, we all try, no? Yeah? But then at a certain point in our life, sooner or later, we think, this is not working, yeah, okay? You know, I was good, I did everything I was told, but still I'm miserable, yeah? And why? Because actually we don't understand the cause of happiness, yeah? Which is, yeah? So anyway, this is a big subject in Buddhism. The cause of happiness, actually, is giving happiness to others, actually. It's not like, I don't know, studying or getting better houses or cars or relationships or jobs and going to the beach, yeah? The cause of happiness is actually being kind and helping others, yeah? And giving happiness and well-being to others. And if we do that, we will become happy, yeah? Okay? And there's many, many levels of that, yeah? So Buddhism, I don't know, the Dharma is fascinating because it actually shows the deeper mechanism of how things work, you know? We all want to be happy. We all did it wrong, yeah? Why? Because we don't understand how things work, and then, of course, we're all miserable, yeah? Yeah, so Lord Buddha said, don't worry, there's a solution. I'll show you how things do work, and then you can start to accumulate the right view and become happy, yeah? Because Buddhism is about this, no? We want to become peaceful and happy, no? And create happiness and well-being for all beings, yeah? So may all beings have happiness and its causes. The causes is very important. The second one, may all beings be free from suffering and its causes. So Dugnyal in Tibetan means pain and suffering, yeah? So it's like kind of like physical and mental pain, yeah? Okay? So nobody wants pain and suffering, but we actually run towards it like moth to a flame because we don't understand, you know, like we run after happiness, and mostly what we're doing is creating the cause for suffering because we don't know, you know? Yeah? I don't know what exactly, like, for example, overeating, yeah? Where it's really nice and then we eat too much and then it's bad for us, no? We get sick and so on, yeah? We have zillions of these examples, yeah? Yeah? There's a song in Spanish. It says, everything I like is illegal, immoral, and makes me fat, yeah? And this is like samsara, isn't it, you know? Unfortunately, samsara's like this, you know, yeah? But anyway, it is, yeah? So we need to understand the cause of suffering, yeah, okay? So the cause of suffering is actually, first it's our deluded attitudes, yeah, okay? And acting on them, yeah? Like being selfish, you know, and so on. And deeply it's the wrong understanding of reality, which is not immediately so easy to get rid of because it's totally inside our mind, yeah? But bit by bit we can change our view, yeah, okay? Bit by bit. The third one is, may all beings never be separated from the great happiness that is beyond all misery. So may all beings reach the state of nirvana or nibbana in Pali, yeah? So nirvana means suffering is blown out like a candle. That does not mean we are blown out like a candle. It means all the pain and suffering is blown out. And if all the pain and suffering is blown out, what we have left is happiness and well-being, yeah? So that's what we want, yeah? Okay, so may all beings experience that, yeah? Nirvana, yeah? Okay, and then other levels of well-being and happiness, yeah? And then may all beings never be separated. May all beings dwell in equanimity, unaffected by attraction to dear one and aversion to others, yeah? Okay, so may we not be dominated by desire and hatred, yeah? Which is together with unknowing, is the mechanism of what we call samsara, yeah? Samsara means again and again and again we do the same thing and suffer, yeah? It's like kind of in our life, again and again and again we have the same emotional behavior, no? Yeah? And when we hurt ourselves and others. So this is our personal samsara, yeah? Okay? So from our unknowing, yeah? Which is very deep, unknowing how things function and exist, which is very profoundly deep in our mind, yeah? Then everything that looks pleasant, we think, I want it. I must have it, yeah? And then we develop desirous attachment, yeah? Yeah? And everything we perceive as being unpleasant in any way, we think, I hate it, I don't want it, you know? Then aversion is coming. And from this turns the wheel of our habits and what we call our personal samsara, again and again and again, yeah? So it's like this motor, yeah? Making our life out of control. Not only that, also for our health, actually, yeah? From these three emotions come from the hatred, come the bile energy, no? Yeah. From the aversion comes the phlegm, no? Alkana, no? And then from the desirous attachment comes the vata, the stress, you know? So in Buddhism we say, you know, this is also not so easy to do. If you don't want to be stressed, very easy. Stop wanting anything, then you won't be stressed, yeah? If you don't have any desire for anything, you know, like, because we're stressed because I always want more, right? I need to work more, yeah? And pay more, so I'm stressed, yeah? So if I want less and less, if I'm more happy with it, more... Rinpoche used to say we need a simple, easy life, you know? Like a more authentic life, and we need a lot, of course, some things we need, no? But we need a lot less, yeah? So then we'll be less stressed, yeah? Okay? So that's one thing that he was trying to emphasize coming here and our other centers around the world, you know? To live in this more like simple, back to nature, you know, kind of life was the idea, no? Okay? Anyway, so these 4 limitless meditations, yeah? Limitless because there's limitless sentient beings, yeah? Sentient beings means everybody with consciousness, yeah? Okay, so that also includes like fish and insects and all kinds of beings. And not just this world, we have a multiverse, by the way, in Buddhism. We say we have 1,000 world systems, which actually, 3,000 world systems, which means 1 billion worlds, which means we have a multiverse, yeah, with many forms of life, yeah? But they're not very near here, by the way. It's not so easy you can't like go like Elon Musk to, you know? Yeah, in a spaceship. But anyway, we have a multiverse, yeah? So may all these forms of life, may they experience happiness and well-being, yeah? Throughout the multiverse, yeah? Okay? So these 4 thoughts were made by Buddha Shakyamuni, okay? Very important, they're linked with states of concentration and also healing the elements, yeah? Healing Mother Earth, yeah? So, and in Theravada Buddhism, all the time, this is called the Brahma Viharas, the stages of Brahma, the stages of bliss, actually, yeah? And if we meditate on these 4 thoughts again and again, we can reach a very high state of consciousness, yeah, okay? Okay, so in Lord Buddha time, one of the main meditations they were doing was concentration, samatha, on these four thoughts, yeah? And then what we call vipassana, which is to understand how the body and mind works, how things function, okay, yeah, okay? However, these days, things are a bit more run down, let's say, than in the time of Lord Buddha. So, first, actually, Lama Ganchen, he had the number, which is now the last one, limitless peace. May all beings have inner peace and enjoy inner and world peace now and forever. Why? Because now, unfortunately, there's all kinds of wars all the time, yeah? So, I mean, unfortunately, there's this awful war going on in Ukraine, But actually, there's many, many other conflicts going around in the world. I don't know how many, over 100, yeah? Just they don't get in our newspapers, yeah? For whatever reason, yeah? So, unfortunately, our world is in a very, very bad conflictual state, So may everybody experience inner peace and world peace, yeah? Ganchen Rinpoche worked together with the United Nations, yeah? So the United Nations says, peace is the absence of war, yeah? So Rinpoche used to say, of course, that's okay, but it's not enough, World peace has to come from inner peace, yeah? So that's why he had the last one, yeah? So for many and many years, we were repeating 5 limitless, yeah? And then later, he had the limitless health and limitless environmental regeneration. Why? Because nowadays, because of various reasons, because of overpopulation, because of the exhaustion of the natural resources and so on, yeah? There's many, many kinds of sickness that are appearing in the modern times, many kinds of new sickness, difficult to cure, or we've just seen recently, yeah? All kinds of horrible sickness appearing, yeah? And also our environment is in a very damaged state, So these have to be like, let's say, the peace and environmental regeneration and health actually is the focus of our times, Yeah? In ancient times the environment was okay, and of course they have sickness, but not like now, yeah? We have worse sickness, yeah? And we have much more war than they had before, yeah? And much more, we have much more awful weapon as well, yeah? Okay? Much more horrible ways of hurting each other. So anyway, so let's do this together, okay? Making strong wishes, yeah? So we believe in what's called munlam, yeah? That means the power of wishes, yeah? Or good wishes, yeah? So you should never feel that my positive intention has no effect, because it does, yeah? Especially if we meditate together, which is why it's super good we gather here together, here, for example, in Albagnano or in our centres around the world, or online, and we make many dedications and positive wishes together, yeah? Geraldo. So we always do in Tibetan first, because some blessing is there, some energy, okay? And then we say in Italian and other languages, okay? So, okay. Samchen tamche dewa dan dewe gyu dan dempa gyu chi. Samchen tamche dunyel dan du gelgi gyu dan drewa gyu chi. Samchen tamche dunya me pe dewa dami drawa gyuchi. Samchen tamche nyerin chadani da drawe tamyon la nepa gyuchi. Samchen tamche lusengi du nele so shin trayun luse dewa dan dempa gyuchi. Samchen tamche NgalSo Tantric Self no chu koyo dashin samane gyuchi. Samchen tamche dansa bulingi keto tadan chinagi Shide dan duku dempa gyud. Okay? Okay, so Italiano, please. Okay, and then we say English, yeah? Possono? Very la felicità la sua causa. Possono tutti gli esseri senzienti essere liberi dalla sofferenza della sua causa. Possono tutti gli esseri senzienti essere inseparabili dall'estasi privi del dolore. Possono tutti gli esseri senzienti dimorare nell'equanimità, libera di attrazioni verso alcuni e avversioni verso gli altri. Possono tutti gli esseri senzienti guarire dalla malattia, possono purificare il corpo e la mente inquinati e godere di perfetta salute relativa e assoluta, ora e sempre. Possono tutti gli esseri senzienti rilassare in un ambiente interiore puro e sano, ora e sempre. Possono tutti gli esseri senzienti avere la pace interiore e godere della pace nel mondo, ora e sempre. Okay, may all beings have happiness and its causes. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings never be separated from the great happiness that is beyond all misery. May all beings dwell in equanimity, unaffected by attraction to dear one and aversion to others. May all beings recover from the sicknesses of mind and body pollution and enjoy relative and absolute health now and forever. May all beings relax in a pure and healthy outer and inner environment now and forever. May all beings enjoy inner and world peace now and forever. Okay, next, we imagine that our environment becomes a pure world, you know. So if we look in the ordinary way, there's so many things wrong, yeah, a big list, and you know, okay. But anyway, now what we do is imagine that everything heals and gets better. Okay, we're quite aware of all the faults and defects of our world, but anyway, we have something called taking the result into the path, which is, you know, it's like, let's say, optimism, a positive view, you know. It's like, I don't know, for example, if one day you want to become a pop star, when you're a kid you start singing, no, with your hairbrush, you know. You imagine you are, no, and it goes like that, no. First we have to believe it's possible, and then we have to do something to bring it in, if possible, you know, to happen, yeah. So first we imagine the environment is healed, yeah, the world becomes pure, because also our mind is very much, okay, of course there are many cause and condition, individually and collectively, but we also need to have a positive view, you know. If we just think, oh, everything's terrible, you know, it's horrible, there's nothing I can do, nothing is going to change, yeah. So this vision of the world can be healed, you know, we have many of these things, don't we, like the Shambhala prophecy, many of these ideas in society, yeah, some hope for the future, then it motivates us actually to do something, yeah, to bring that into reality, yeah. So, may the world become pure without little stones or spines, yeah? May it be soft like a baby's hand, yeah? And smooth like lapis lazuli, okay? Yeah? So presumably this was made by people who lived in stony mountain place, yeah? Who, you know, so they wanted a very smooth, nice environment where they didn't have to go up and down stony mountain all the time. But may everything be a very beautiful environment, yeah? Very healthy, very okay, yeah? Okay? Also very, not hard, you know. So, you know, like in a good environment, there's enough water and the ground is soft, isn't it? There's a lot of vegetation, yeah. So may we have there's many different ecosystems. So let's imagine all the ecosystems regenerate, okay? So that's the first one, yeah, okay? In this verse, and then it says, may the offerings of gods and humans, those actually set out and mentally imagined, yeah? Like the offerings of Bodhisattva, pervade the entire expanse of limitless space, yeah? So, we can imagine, like here is a very beautiful environment, there's many beautiful environments. So every time we see something beautiful in the environment, we offer this, yeah, okay? To the deities, to the Buddhas of healing and so on, yeah, okay? So, here, now this is our Buddhist temple, we have many around the world, we make what we call offerings, yeah? Not because the Buddhas need them, but because we need to accumulate energy, positive, you know, Actually, this has many, many psychological benefits. For example, like putting the water bowls to calm down the mind, to be peaceful, to have a routine, you know. Also, actually, water, we're beginning to understand water is super precious, yeah? It's not just something to open the tap and let go, no? In our time now, water is becoming super, super important to have water and a good quality water, yeah? So anyway, so we offer water and all the best we can, either set out like this, yeah, or mentally imagine. So our Lama Lawang, yeah, who was a very wonderful healer, who lived with us for many years, Tibetan healing master. He lived in Milano, and he used to go around the Esilunga supermarket and used to offer everything in there in his mind, yeah. So he was always going around with his trolley. We're getting a few things now, maybe just buying this in Esilunga, but offering all of Esilunga, you know. So you can do like that, or any mountains, any beauty. Every time you see something beautiful, you offer it, no? Yeah. Whatever it is, you know, an environment, a person, like, it's many beautiful things, no? You offer, yeah. Also, it's nice, you know. It has many psychological advantages to offer the beauty rather than to grasp at it, yeah? Okay. So Bodhisattva Samantabhadra was one of the, I said there's many Bodhisattva disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. There's Manjusri, the wisest one, Chenrezig, the most kind one, the most empathetic one. Samantabhadra had this superpower of like, he was the best at like organizing, you know, and he could make incredible like offerings, yeah, okay? So he could like multiply endlessly offerings throughout space, like every day like Christmas, yeah? So we imagine like, they imagine like one offering comes like, you know, like on Disney, yeah? At the beginning of Disney film, yeah? Comes all the lights and many, many things come out. So a bit like that, yeah, okay? So anyway, the whole of the universe is pervaded with beautiful things, not ugly, horrible, nasty things, okay? Yeah? Okay. So, and then this mantra, yeah, Om Namo Bhagavati, is a mantra to multiply our offerings, yeah. So even if we're only offering this, we say this mantra. Imagine that we're offering all the beautiful waters of the world, you know, and so on, yeah, and so on, yeah. Okay, so we'll do that together, yeah. Okay, okay. Tamche duni sashita semala suhome pada la tiltanyam pedurye ranshin jampone gyuchi la dami chupese no susham dani kitru kun san chutrin lana me Nanke kan kuhum kya kyuchi. Om Namo Bhagavate Benza Sawa Pramadan Tathagataya Ahate Samya Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Benze Maha Tatsa Benze Mahavidya Mahabodhicitta Benze Mahabodhi Mandropa Sankramana Benze Sawakama Awarana Vishuddhana Benze Soha. Okay, next what's called expressing the power of the truth, yeah? So, by the power of the truth of the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, through the truth that we have Buddha nature, that we can develop the emotional support that is the Dharma, that we can gradually develop realizations of reality and become Sangha, by the blessing of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, through the great force generated by the two accumulations. Rinpoche used to talk about this a lot, the accumulation of merit and the accumulation of wisdom. To become a Buddha, we need what's called the two accumulations. The accumulation of merit is the cause for achieving the Buddha's body, and the accumulation of wisdom is the cause to achieve a Buddha's mind, okay? Yeah? So accumulation of merit means means lots of things, but basically whatever you do to help anybody else with a selfless mind is the accumulation of merit, okay, yeah? And the accumulation of wisdom is when we understand how things exist, that things are interdependent, that things are not permanent the way they appear, and so on, yeah? Anyway, so through the great energy generated by the two accumulations of merit and wisdom, and by the power of the inconceivable Dharmadhatu. The Dharmadhatu is how things actually exist and function, okay, yeah? The sphere of reality, yeah, okay? Dhatu means sphere, yeah, yeah? And Dharma means phenomena. So the Dharma Dhatu is when we actually understand how things truly exist, yeah? Because then we can do the right thing, yeah? Now we always do the wrong thing. We want to be happy and create the cause for suffering, and so on, yeah? When we understand how things do exist, we can do the right thing, yeah? And create the cause for the environment to recover, for world peace, for happiness, and so on, yeah? So through all this, may these offerings become real, yeah? Okay? So, anyway, so truth is a big subject in Buddhism, yeah? Okay? We have two truths, relative truth and conventional truth, yeah? Which is the main subject of the Heart Sutra. Also, Lama Michel Rinpoche gives very many beautiful teachings on this. Please attend, yeah? Okay? Gives excellent explanation, okay? Okay, so let's do this, yeah? Okay, let's say this. Okay. Kuncho sungi tenpa tan sange dan janchu senpa tam che gi jingi la dan so ni yon su so pe na dan chenpo dan chuki nampa da chin sangi mikya pe togi deshi ni du gyu chi. Okay, next is the invocation of the healing Buddha. Okay, so now this verse is super famous. It was actually made by a lady called Magadha Zangmo, which means the excellent lady from Magda state of Magadha. Magadha actually means something like Milano, actually, the middle land, yeah, okay? So it's one state in ancient India. So Lord Buddha Shakyamuni he wasn't from Magadha, but he spent a lot of his life in Magadha, yeah, okay, yeah? So anyway, there was this lady called Magadha Zangmo, the excellent lady of Magadha, yeah? And she had to get married to, it's ancient India, yeah? So she had to get married to somebody in another state in India, very far away. So she always used to go and stand on the roof of her house, flat roof, and look towards Magadha and make many wishes that Buddha and his disciples would come and visit her, yeah? Okay? And she used to make many munlan, many wishes that would come true, yeah? So one day she decided, okay, I'm going to make loads and loads of food, and I'm going to pray that the Buddha and his disciples will come and enjoy it. So she stood on the roof and she said this, she sang this, Malu Semchen, yeah? Protector of all beings without exception, how do you say? Protector of all beings, something of the limitless, subjugator of the limitless forces of Mara. That means of our emotions, actually. Yeah. Perfect knower of all things, so he's understood reality. Oh Bhagavan, yeah, yeah. Oh Lord Buddha, please come here together with your followers. Yeah. So she used to stand on her roof, holding incense, saying this, and one day the Buddha and some of his arhats, they say 500, she must have made a lot of food, yeah, because the Buddha and 500 arhats actually turned up to her house, yeah, okay? And so ever since then, in the Buddhist tradition, we have said this verse first in Prakrit, which was the language of that time in India, and then in Tibetan, and now we say in Italian and English and many other languages, okay? One thing that Rinpoche, Lama Gangchen, used to emphasize is that, okay, he said, please, I like you to keep some little bit of Tibetan, because, why? Because for almost 1,300 years, the Tibetan people have put many positive wish and intention and energy in these prayers, So if you say them automatically, it's easy to receive some positive feeling, some healing. But he said, please, now we're making Western Buddhism, modern Buddhism, so please now we need to repeat in Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, Dutch, Chinese, I don't know, many Russian, many languages, okay, yeah? And he said, please, when you repeat your language, it's not just translation. He said, you need to put the same wishes into your language. And he said, gradually, our language will become blessed, yeah? So the Tibetan people, over centuries, they did this job, yeah? Which is why we like, don't we, put YouTube, all the monks, because automatically is a good feeling, because 1,000 years of positive intention, yeah? So Rinpoche said, please all of you, my friends and followers, now and in the future, let's continue to put positive wishes into Italian and all the other European languages, yeah? Not even, yeah, all the languages, yeah? Rinpoche always used to say, you will have very beautiful languages, but now we need to put positive wishes and make your languages more beautiful, yeah? So that's why we do Tibetan and many other languages, okay? Okay, so let's do this together. So when you do this, actually, you should go like this, yeah? Okay, you're making chagso, yeah? This has many meanings, actually 5 fathers, 5 mothers. It's actually a symbol of enlightenment. Very profound, actually, yeah? Yeah? Malusem chen kugi gugyu chi du de pu je mi je jom zel. No na malu ya da kien gyu pe chom den ku che ne di she su su. So imagine in this case that Medicine Buddha, inseparable from our Guru and all the deities of healing, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they all come and we are in their presence, yeah? Yeah? Okay? So then it says, practice of the outer visualization, meditation on the external mandala. I visualize in front of me the Supreme Healer, Buddha Shakyamuni, and make this request, yeah? Asking him to manifest the 7 medicine Buddhas, yeah, okay? Okay, so as I was explaining before, Lord Buddha in Vaishali, yeah, he was sat there with his disciples, and Manjusri said, what in the future, when things are very difficult, what will we do? And then Buddha said, don't worry, yeah? And he manifests the 7 medicine Buddhas, yeah, okay? Okay, so, Lama, Tubuang, Tendralma, Kien. Lama, Tubuang, Kendrelma, Kien. Tubuang means Buddha Shakyamuni, by the way, okay? Yeah? Lama means our Guru inseparable from Shakyamuni, yeah? Tendrelma, Tendrel means interdependence, yeah? So it's, and Kien actually means the one who can act, the one who can do, yeah? So, Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni, inseparable from my Guru, the lineage of Gurus, from Lord Buddha down to the present day. Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, who taught interdependence, yeah? So this is one of the, okay, there's many beautiful religions in the world, and there truly are, all with special qualities, yeah? But the, let's say, special feat, because all religions, they have renunciation, yeah? They all have empathy, love, compassion. But what Buddhism has, it's true that others don't, is we have interdependence. We have this different way of seeing things, yeah? Of understanding how things exist, how things function, yeah? So there's a very important praise made by Lama Tsongkhapa. Lama Tsongkhapa is on the left side of the screen. He's the founder of our Gelugpa tradition. And when he achieved awakening, he made a very famous prayer called Tendral Tupa, yeah? Which is praise to interdependence at the moment he achieved awakening, yeah? Which is praising Lord Buddha for having taught interdependence, giving us the key to the prison of samsara, yeah? Actually, one thing that Lama Gangchen used to say is we need to know this prayer, yeah? So this is something we need to develop, we need to do, because in there is all the answer, actually, yeah? Anyway, Tubang Tendralma, Lord, and Rinpoche, Lama Gangchen used to emphasize this form of Buddha a lot, yeah, actually, yeah. And for example, around our center here in Albagnano, and not just here, also in many, many other of our NgalSo centers around the world, we have this image of Tubang Tendralma, which of course can be sat down. But if we look, we see many all over the place, in Kumpen, in Sao Paulo, in Greece, here, everywhere, we see this image of Lord Buddha like this, and he's like this, no? Healing the world, yeah? This is Buddha Tubang Tendralma, yeah? So with his understanding of reality, he's healing our world, yeah? Okay? So Rinpoche Lama Gangchen, he liked very, very much this form of Buddha, yeah? Okay? Well, here we have 100, I think. I don't know if I've counted them recently. I think we have 100 Tubang Tendralma Buddhas. You know all the Buddhas around the center like this, yeah? Yeah, big meaning, yeah? It means we need to connect with this, yeah? Form of Buddha, yeah? You know, we need to ask Buddha's blessing for us to wake up and understand the nature of reality, yeah? Yeah, and we do, the first thing, actually the first way to do that is to think about change and in how things are connected, you know, like nature actually. If we think about nature and the environment and things change, we're going in the right direction, and then there's many other things, yeah, okay? But start to go in that direction, yeah, okay? Okay, so Lama Tubuang Tendralma Kien, yeah? Then it says, please, maybe we need to read this. Mary Christina, what language are you doing? Italiano? English? Italiano. Okay. Okay, Mary Christina's reading in Italiano. I'm going to read it in English. So it says, please, Supreme Healer Guru Shakyamuni Kien, yeah, who possesses the capacity to transform all phenomena and heal all the sicknesses, yeah. Okay. We make request to you who possess the 84,000 antidotes to heal the 84,000 million sicknesses of body and mind in this degenerate era of the Kali Yuga. So all these prayers, yeah, were made by Lama Ganchen Rinpoche based on the traditional prayers of our Gelugpa tradition. You know, we have a very rich tradition of like the practices of the medicine Buddha. And we have many, many beautiful sadhanas, yeah, but of medicine Buddha and the seven or eight medicine Buddhas and their 44 promises. But the thing is, they're a little bit long for us, yeah, okay? Maybe you saw sometimes in Borobudur, we have this beautiful sadhana, and the Venerable Lamas and monks were repeating it, yeah, but it's a little bit long, yeah? So what Rinpoche did, and I helped him this time, yeah, I was his writer, no? Was take out all the main points, yeah, in a way that was more easy for us to catch, you know, okay? So it says, okay, Lord Buddha, yeah? Sorry, can you go back up, please? Huh? Okay, so Supreme Healer. So Rinpoche always called all Buddhas Supreme Healer, yeah, okay, yeah? Because he wanted to emphasize, he said, of course, you know, Buddhism is we want to achieve awakening, this naturally. He said, however, first we need to come back into balance, yeah, we need to have a balanced body and mind. And he said, Lord Buddha Shakyamuni was a kind of polyglot, you know, he was a kind of Renaissance man, you know. So before he achieved awakening, he studied Ayurveda, astrology, mathematics, sports, languages. He was a very clever guy, you know, he knew all the kind of science of ancient India, yeah. And so and yoga and many, many other things, okay. So he wanted to find a solution to human suffering, yeah? So of course, ultimately, we need to get out of samsara, but on the meantime, there's many levels of suffering, there's many kinds of wisdom which can help us to feel better in the meantime, yeah? So contrary to general opinion about Buddhism, Buddhism also has this side, you know? I mean, like all world religions, you know? You know, we want people to feel well. Okay, of course we want to get out of samsara, but on the meantime, we want people to be healthy, happy, and balanced, you know? Because getting out of samsara could be 1 life, 3 lives, 10 lives, 1,000 lives, we don't know. So anyway, we want happiness and well-being, yeah? Okay. So Rinpoche always called all Buddhas Supreme Healer, yeah? Okay. So please, Supreme Healer Guru Shakyamuni, and Rinpoche tried to put all the idea, it says, it looks like a prayer, no, but it said all inside there is all the idea, yeah? Kien, okay, Kien does mean omniscient, like, for example, in the Kagyupa sect, you know, sect of Tibetan Buddhism, they have many incredible High Lamas, but their leader is called the Karmapa, and they always say Karmapa Kien no, yeah? Karmapa, omniscient one. So it doesn't mean like can read your bank account, yeah? Not like that, yeah? It means knows the nature of reality directly, yeah? So when we say Kien, it means a profound understanding of interdependence of how things exist, yeah? Not like the Judaic Christian of omniscience, yeah? Not that one, it's a different one, okay? Also, Kien in Tibetan means the one who acts, who can do. So please, you know, like please think of me, help me, it also has that kind of connotation, yeah? So you who have the capacity to transform all phenomena, not by magic, because you understand how things exist and work, yeah? And heal all the sicknesses, yeah? Okay? So this is a huge subject, you know, which encompasses all of Tibetan medicine, yeah? Very huge, and Ayurveda, yeah? And also, we say the root cause of suffering is the mind, yeah? Okay? So In Buddhism, we say there's 84,000 dharmas, yeah? Okay, why? We say that it was like Lord Buddha, we say he taught, this is basket, yeah? Okay. So in the ancient times, yeah, when after Lord Buddha passed away, then his disciples, you know, they gathered together and they start to remember, oh, but Lord Buddha said this, Lord Buddha said that, and then they start to divide into different baskets, yeah? Sutra and, ethics and Abhidharma, like philosophy, yeah? So they had like these baskets and they would put the teachings in different baskets, yeah? That's how it came up, the idea. So there's 84,000 different kinds of solutions, they say, within Buddhism. Why? Because we're very complicated, yeah? Doesn't mean each one of us needs 84,000, but it's something for everybody. For everybody, there's a solution, yeah? What it means, yeah? Okay? So, you who possess the 84,000 antidotes to heal the 84,000 sicknesses of body and mind, so from the, say, Buddhist point of view, yeah? Sicknesses of body and mind, okay, ultimately come out of, the root cause of this is ignorance, desire and hatred, yeah, okay? From ignorance and desire and hatred, yeah, and taking rebirth, our body forms, which has the three humours, wind, bile and phlegm, vata, kapha and pitta, yeah, or in Tibetan it's called lung, bekan and tripa, yeah, and 5 elements, yeah, okay? There's different versions of the elements. There can be either space, wind, water, earth and fire, or there can be wood, fire, earth, metal and water. There's 2 systems of elements that we use in healing, okay? Both extremely interesting and valid, yeah, okay? So anyway, all this arises from the mind, okay? From the subtle mind, yeah? So there's many, many levels of healing. So we need to do many conventional things, diet, exercise, blah, blah, blah. But this on its own will never be enough, no matter how many pills or vitamins or medicines or diets or yoga or whatever we do, it will never be a solution, really, yeah? So we need to heal our mind on a profound level, okay? Together with, okay, taking care of the health, yeah? So please heal the 84,000 types of sickness of body and mind in this degenerate era of the Kali Yuga. Okay, in Indian philosophy, in Vedic philosophy, yeah, there's 4 yugas. So just like we are born, we grow and decline and die, and then again and again, yeah, just as we are cyclic, yeah, just as the year is cyclic, so the universe is cyclic, you know. So like in the Western modern times now, we have the Big Bang, don't we? Okay, which is very interesting, yeah. And now our astrophysicists, they can visualize, you know, create an illustration of the sound and the appearance of the radiation from very close to the Big Bang, yeah, 14 billion years ago, yeah. But then it's like, oh yeah, but then what happened before the Big Bang? And that's like nobody seems to be able to answer that. So in Hinduism and Buddhism, we say no problem. Before the Big Bang, there was the destruction of the previous universe, yeah? Okay? And so the universe is like this. It big bangs, yeah? Okay? Why it big bangs is because of consciousness, actually, yeah? Yeah? So the universe, our universe grows, no? And then matures, then declines, and then eventually collapses due to one element or another destroying the others, yeah? Becomes sick and dies, and then it implodes, destroys, yeah? So then is the question, where do all the billions and trillions of beings go, okay, yeah? So then, okay, so remember we have a multiverse, so it's not just this world, this universe, but finally the force of their consciousness will reform another world, yeah, okay? So anyway, so and actually physicists actually are thinking like this too now, actually, of a cyclic universe, not just Buddhists and Hindus, yeah, okay? So anyway, so there's a cyclic universe. So there's these huge cycles, you know, of like billions of years of the, you know. Fortunately, we still have, the scientists say we still have like 4 billion years to go before our solar system is burnt up by our sun, by the way, so no need to panic about that. There's so many other things to panic about at the moment, but that particular one is not the issue at the moment, okay? Still 4 billion years, okay? So that can be far down the list of worries, yeah? But within human society, we also have yugas, you know, eras, yeah, of human society. So we in the modern society, we have this, let's say, myth of progress that since, I don't know exactly when, do we think this started since the Renaissance, I think, we think everything just get better and better and we're the best ever, sort of thing, the most developed, the most wonderful, But in other cultures, they don't believe in this. They believe that society is cyclic, and actually there's actually been a golden era far back in the past, and now actually the archaeologists are discovering incredible cities from thousands and thousands of years ago, with people that didn't destroy the environment and were very advanced and so on. But anyway, so there's a golden age, Then there's a silver age, bronze age, and an iron age, okay? So the Bronze Age was before, well, the Iron Age was started I don't know, when does the Iron Age start? I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, okay. So when the Iron Age start, when, we start to develop more weapons and things, it start the Kali Age, which is our present age, okay. And also actually, Lord Buddha Shakyamuni appeared at the beginning of the Kali Age in order to help us, okay, as promised, okay. Anyway, this is very interesting. This we will talk more about if you're interested. If not, we'll talk more about it when we do the Vajrapani teachings, Okay? Okay, but we have many, many things to talk about. Anyway, at the moment, so there's different predictions, no? So one prediction is that Lord Buddha's teaching is supposed to last for 5,000 years, okay? But then they say actually unfortunately we've behaved so badly that we've kind of cut short our, the time that the Buddha's teachings will remain, So there's all kinds of different ideas about how, whether we're in the Kali age or not, but, Also this depends also on astronomy, actually, okay? So, so in Buddhism, we follow the sidereal system. That means what you see in the sky is what you get, yeah? Okay, in the Western system, we follow astrology based from the point of view of the Earth, which also is very interesting, okay. But anyway, it's a different system, okay. But in the, also with its validity, of course, But we follow a sidereal system. That means if you see Scorpio, the moon is in Scorpio in the sky, the moon is in Scorpio, okay, It's, anyway, exactly what you see is what you get, okay. So according to our sidereal astrology, the age of Aquarius is not yet, it's in 400 years basically, and that's the end of the Kali Yuga, okay? So according to these kind of predictions, which are in the Kalachakra Tantra actually, we still have 400 years of the Kali age to go, okay? Rinpoche Lama Ganchen used to talk about this a lot actually. He used to say, okay, now we need lots of love, like Maitreya, because the world is missing love. And he said, we, not just us, fortunately, but many positive people like us. And now there's more and more and more, actually. It's good in the new generation. Lots of people who want to take care of the environment, who want electric vehicles, who want a different lifestyle, who don't want to damage the environment, who want a different life, who want to do different kinds of therapy and peace and, many, many positive things, all kinds of therapies and environmentalism. Rinpoche said this is the Shambhala energy rising, Okay? However, so we're on the wave upwards, but there's still 4 centuries to go, Okay? So don't worry, there's still plenty of time for us to improve. I mean, Rinpoche made all this, not just Rinpoche, all different, there's many, many lamas around the world who are investing in these spiritual centers, If they thought this was the end of the world, I'm sure, why bother, Anyway, so this is not the end. We're on, hopefully, Rinpoche used to say we've reached the bottom and now we're starting to go up, actually, okay? We've already hit rock bottom, basically. So the only way up now is up, Okay, bit by bit we need to go up, Okay? So anyway, in this degenerate time of the Kali Yuga, please help us, Okay? So I make request to you, who were requested by Bodhisattva Manjusri, when your supreme emanation body was staying, okay, here it says staying in the center of the world on top of Mount Meru, So this is not a contradiction from saying Buddha was under the tree of music in Vaishala, because from his point of view, spiritually, yeah, he was on top of Mount Meru. Mount Meru is the center of is the axis mundi, yeah, in the center of the spiritual universe, yeah. So you were on the top of Mount Meru, the place of Indra, yeah, Indra, the thunder god, yeah, okay, where you manifested emanations capable of healing the innumerable sufferances that characterize the degenerate era, okay? Can we go on, please, Geraldo? Okay, I make request to you who manifested as Medicine Buddha in the pure land of Lapis Lazuli, yeah? Yeah? Which is in the east of the world. Okay, so this is now here inside the sadhana, it's describing the pure land of the Medicine Buddha, okay? All this sadhana, it's not necessary to read every single part every time, yeah? You know, once we get the idea, we, no need to say all the words, but we need to, Rinpoche used to say, lots of words are for people who don't know, you know? Yeah? All these descriptions, and once you know, you don't no need, if you know what it looks like, yeah? Just imagine, yeah? Okay? So, I make request to you, Medicine Buddha, in the pure land of Lapis Lazuli light, yeah? Okay, so in the south is Vindhya, the mountain of lightning, yeah? And in the south, actually this is a mistake actually. I found my original notes, yeah, of what Rinpoche said, and sorry, this is my fault, yeah, excuse me. This we need to correct, yeah, this was an error of transcription. In the south, yeah, where it's hot, yeah, okay? This is the hot nature of the plants is curing the cold nature sickness, actually. It's curing the phlegm sickness, yeah? So awfully sorry, dear editors, but we have to make a little correction there, yeah? Okay, sorry, but anyway, it's like that, yeah? To the north is Ganshan. Ganshan means Himalaya, the snow mountain, yeah? Yeah? And there are the plants, it's cold, no? So there are the plants with the cold quality, and again it should say that cure the hot nature sickness. Sorry, these two I need to correct, yeah? Sorry, apologize, yeah? Okay? Yeah? Actually, so Lama Ganshan means Lama Himalaya, yeah? Okay, land of the snows, which is the name of Tibet, yeah? Also it's one place in Tibet, yeah? And actually we always had many connections with Tierra de la Nieve, no? Like just now, for example, in Spain, no, we got a new retreat center. Also, NgalSo World, we got a beautiful retreat center called Ganshan Seringjong, yeah, okay? And this is in Sierra Nevada, which means Ganshan, yeah, the snowy mountains, yeah? And over the years that I was going around with Rinpoche, actually we had one center in Rio de Janeiro, in Lago de las Nieves, which means the place of the snows. We always have many places with this in different languages, you know? Called Ganshan, yeah, Rinpoche's name, yeah? Anyway. Okay, so the plants, northern plants from a cold, they grow in a cold environment, they heal hot nature sicknesses. Plants from very hot places, I don't know, like south, like the Mediterranean, like India, wherever, you know, hot places, they have the quality to cure cold nature sicknesses, okay, yeah? Yeah? Okay, so then it says then in the west is Malaya, yeah? Ovest is west, no, isn't it, yeah? Yeah? Okay, Malaya, and Rinpoche said actually this means like Malaysia, actually, yeah, okay? There is the cold mountain with innumerable medicine plants, yeah, okay? And in the east is Bongaden, the fragrant mountain with a forest full of Mirabalam, yeah, okay? So this is in the Medicine Buddha, if you look at images, the Medicine Buddha is holding one plant, yeah? So he's basically saying like, eat this, yeah? So what is this super special plant that Medicine Buddha recommends we should eat? So it's a plant called Mirabalam, yeah? And it neutralizes outer, inner, and secret poisons, yeah? So in Ayurveda, this is considered the king of medicines, yeah? So it is actually a real plant, yeah? And it's in Ayurveda, it's called Triphala, yeah? And there's three kinds of these Indian gooseberries, actually, yeah? And the taste of them, apparently, it has like all 6 tastes, yeah? So 6 tastes means it heals all the different elements of your body, which means it pacifies the 3 doshas, the 3 humours. So if you eat this Mirabalam, this Triphala, it brings your body bit by bit back into balance, yeah? So it's like, if you only take one medicine, take this, yeah? Yeah. I mean, like, for example, Prajna Paramita, she's holding one book, says, read this. What's the book, yeah? Perfection of Wisdom, yeah? Read that, yeah? If you only read one book, read that. So Medicine Buddha says, if you only want to eat one medicine, eat Triphala, you know? Yeah? Very interesting, no? So during our retreat, we friends, no? We've been all having a go, yeah? Now it's really amazing. It's very helpful, actually, yeah? Buddha was right. Triphala is really amazing, of course. And Buddha was right, yeah? But we have a very, incredible healing tradition, yeah? So anyway, so it neutralizes outer, inner, and secret poisons, yeah? Doesn't mean we can just do whatever we want, but then actually I don't know, it's definitely very helpful for the health, yeah? And then in the center arises the city of Sudarshana, which means beautiful to behold, actually, in Sanskrit, yeah? Yeah? Also called Tanaduk, yeah? Beautiful, anyway, the name is beautiful to behold, yeah? And in the center is the celestial abode of Medicine Buddha, in this incredible palace that has 16,000 palaces made of gold, silver, pearls, red pearls, and lapis lazuli, so a really beautiful, amazing palace, yeah? Or I always think of the Alhambra of Granada, personally, when I think of that, yeah? Which emanates healing lights of the 5 colors. That means making peace with the 5 elements, yeah? Which was a big theme of healing, no? Throughout Vajrayana Buddhism, yeah? Okay, Malaya. Now, as you know, Lama Rinpoche, he start, let's say, self-healing in a beautiful place called Borobudur in Indonesia, yeah? In the 8th century, Indonesia and Malaysia were part of the Indian subcontinent. They were all, like, say, colonies of India, yeah? So Rinpoche used to say that actually, they used to talk a lot about that. He used to show me in the Tibetan Kalachakra text that actually the Kalachakra mandala was in the mountain of Malaya, which he said was actually Malaysia, Indonesia, This text I have at home, in the initiation of Kalachakra, So many things came down in a pure and unbroken way to the Tibetan tradition, which is why Rinpoche was very much interested in monuments and holy places like Borobudur. He said, look, Tibetan Buddhism, we're not Tibetan, it's just we continued the ancient Indian tradition, we just did our best to continue. And he used to point out all the similar features, which is many actually, So anyway, so this incredible healing palace, radiating rainbow lights, yeah, okay. In Vajrayana Buddhism, by the way, rainbows have only 5 colors. Did you know that, yeah? Our rainbows have 7 colors, yeah? Also, in modern Tibetan society, rainbows have 7 colors, but in ancient Tibet, yeah, rainbows have 5 colors, which are the colors of the 5 elements, so they didn't have, like, purple and orange, yeah, okay? Yeah? So the Vajrayana belief is when you see a rainbow, it's the manifestation of the pure elements, yeah, okay? Yeah? Pure wisdoms and pure elements, yeah, the 5, yeah, not the 7, yeah, okay? Although, as we'll see as we go through this commentary, Rinpoche said, there's so many systems, one Buddha, 3 Buddha, 4 Buddha, or 1 chakra, 3 Buddha, 4 chakra, 5 chakra, 7 chakra, we have so many, yeah? So, we have 5 colors in a rainbow, we have 7 colors in a rainbow, we have 5 chakras, 7 chakras, all kinds of incredible things, yeah? And each one is a kind of skillful means, to transform our mind and our health in a positive way, yeah? Okay, all these things, actually, gold, silver, pearls, red pearls, lapis lazuli, and many, many other things are inside the alchemical tradition of Tibet, yeah, okay? They have something called jewel pills, yeah? So very, very small amounts of these precious substances are within what we call the Rinchen Rilbu, yeah, which are very important medicines, yeah? Not just like that, Yeah, obviously they have to be detoxified, so I don't think, okay, I'll just eat my mala or something like that. You probably just probably make yourself ill if you do that, yeah, but they have an incredible, skillful way to process, for example, okay, like my mala, I can't just like eat it, I would probably make myself ill, yeah, but I can use it for like healing like this, and it's going into my skin, if I hold it and things, but lapis lazuli, for example, is actually within some Tibetan medicine, but tiny bit and they detoxify. Anyway, they have this incredible technology going back to ancient India, back to the Kala Chakra, actually. But anyway, so many incredible things, yeah? Okay? So, then it says, to you, Guru Buddha Shakyamuni, you're in the center of this palace. This is this picture we showed at the beginning. You're surrounded by the 7 medicine Buddhas, and also many healing Buddhas, Bodhisattva, Arhat, Daka, Dakini, Rishi, protectors of the Dharma. Rishi is one who can see clearly, who can only tell the truth, yeah, okay? So in ancient Indian Vedic society, there were many rishis, yeah, okay? Yeah, who were, if you asked them the truth, they were unable to tell you a lie, yeah, so they could only proclaim the truth, yeah? And many of the rishis were great founders of the medical traditions, yeah? Also, how do you say, many devas actually, like Ganesh, for example, is a great founder of the medical and astrological traditions, also what we call Nagas, yeah? Special divine beings. Also in India were considered founders of lineages of healing, like for example Hatha Yoga. Patanjali, the founder of Hatha Yoga, was actually a Naga. I bet you didn't know, not many people know that, but he was actually a Naga who assumed human form to help humanity by teaching them yoga, yeah, okay? And so on and so on. So in that picture, actually let's go back to that picture here. Please, can we go back to the big picture of the mandala, yeah? So, okay, so this bit now is describing this picture, yeah, okay? Not that one, seems to have gone orange, but anyway. The mandala, please, yeah, okay? This is actually Rinpoche's Tubang Tendrama, beautiful, but not this one. Not that one. The one of them, the square one, please, yeah? Okay. That one on the right, where it says there's the palace, yeah? It says mandala on this one. Thank you. This. Can you make it a little bit bigger? So all this what we've been reading. This is the description of this. Obviously, it's not flat. You imagine in front of you this beautiful natural environment. Yeah. Okay. So one thing that Rinpoche wanted so many things, no? But one of the things that Rinpoche wanted is that in our centers around the world we plant medicine plants. Yeah. So now, recently, I had the pleasure and privilege to visit Lama Rinpoche centers in Brazil, and we reopened Rinpoche's centers after the pandemic, okay? So actually we have 5 main places in Brazil. We have Rio de Janeiro, we have São Paulo, Búzios, Campos, which is like Albagnano the second, and we have the new Borobudur, okay? So in all the countryside places, Rinpoche wanted to develop medicine gardens. And he already laid out plans like this, yeah? So now in what place called Cruzilius, where the Borobudur is, yeah? Our Borobudur, they're already starting to plant the medicine plants, yeah, okay? You know, like Rinpoche made so many wishes, you know? And now Rinpoche said, don't worry, I'm leaving my merit to all of you. So it looks like now really things are going incredibly well in many places, you know. So already, for example, this is very far away, beautiful place, very natural, incredible, yeah. They already dug a well, there's already electricity, yeah. Now our friends, they're building a place for us to stay, you know. It's in construction, yeah. Because it's in the middle of really nowhere, yeah. So we need somewhere to stay, you know, to sleep and to cook and to go to the bathroom, yeah. And also they're planting medicine gardens, yeah, as Rinpoche request. And Rinpoche had similar ideas in Búzios and also in Campos and in many places actually. He said also here, you know, like here Rinpoche already had planted more than 100 types of fruit trees, you know. And anyway, basically in all our centers where there's a bit of earth, yeah, Rinpoche wanted, also Pete, you know, and many other friends are doing a really, really good job here in Albagnano with the permaculture. Everything looks so much better, doesn't it, yeah? Anyway, so Rinpoche emphasized a lot this, we know, like we need to make our own Sudarshana, yeah, okay? It's not just something in the space out there, we need to build our pure world, you know? And it's possible to recover the energy of our planet, yeah? If we do the right thing, it's not hopeless. So anyway, so yes, I've seen this plan around many of Rinpoche center and stupas, and bit by bit it's coming true, you know? So very beautiful, no? Anyway, so we're very, very lucky, no? Okay. Anyway, so what we just read now is the description of this, and inside there's all the rishis, the arhats. The bottom left is nagas, yeah. Bottom right are rishis, yeah, because they're wearing white, yeah. Okay, they're Indian rishis, yeah. And then on the top right are different kind of Buddhist masters who are great masters of healing, like Yutok, Yunta, Gompo, Nagarjuna, and many, many others, yeah. Jivaka, and on the top left are various kind of devas, the shining ones who are connected with healing, which is like loads of them, yeah, okay? So full, yeah, it's a busy palace of healing, yeah, because many, many kinds of people involved in healing, yeah, okay? Okay, so anyway, so like this, so can we go, please, Geraldo, can we go back to the, okay. So then it says, I make request to you, who, in order to benefit humanity and transmit the art of hearing from your 5 principal chakras, you emanated the 5 supreme healers and taught the 4 medical tantras, the gushi, yeah, okay? And then it says, okay, so this is something Rinpoche used to talk about a lot, yeah? Also, it's in the Self-Healing 2 teachings, yeah? So in the Tibetan tradition, we have something called the gushi, the 4 tantras, yeah? Which is the main, let's say, source of medicine, yeah? So Rinpoche said, actually, originally this, okay, we might say, okay, there was this conference and they put Songtsen Gampo, got the doctors, no, to combine in Ayurveda and Chinese medicine and Iranian and Greek medicine, yes, okay, yes, but also, yeah, on a spiritual level, there's this explanation that Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, yeah, like in self-healing, no? He manifests the 5 supreme healers, yeah? 5 supreme healers are the transformation of our 5 emotions. With self-healing, everything is much easier, no? Without self-healing, all this is like super complicated, but kindly Rinpoche last showed us self-healing and making peace the environment, so now some chance to understand all these kind of myths and symbols and all these beautiful things, no? Yeah? So, Lord Buddha, he manifests Amitabha, who's the energy of speech now. So Amitabha asks, please, Lord Buddha, yeah, teach me about healing. So then the other 4 Buddhas, they manifest what's called the root tantra, the explanatory tantra, the subsequent tantra, and what's the 4th one called, Elkanah? There's 4 tantras, yeah. Unfortunately, I've forgotten the 4th one, but anyway, 4 tantras, yeah. So the last tantra, okay. So Amitabha was the questioner, yeah. The root tantra is Akshobhya, yeah. And then, you know, there's the 5 Dhyani Buddhas and the 4 tantras are their energies, yeah. Oh, here it is, look, perfect, yeah. Fortunately, it's written into the sadhana, yeah. So it says, okay, the gushi, the medical tantras, were explained in the form of a dialogue between Rigpa Yeshe, which the name means like the sage born from the heart, who's a manifestation of Amitabha, together with Akshobhya Buddha, Yilekye, yeah. And so anyway, so from the heart of Buddha Shakyamuni, Supreme Healer Akshobhya, our friend, yeah, he revealed the root tantra, or sagu. Sagu means root tantra, yeah, okay. So this explains the basic principles, yeah, of medicine, yeah, okay. Yeah, the heart, the main point, yeah. Then from your crown chakra, Supreme Healer Vairocana manifested the 2nd tantra, which is like more detail. Vairocana means the one who brings form to things, yeah. So from a very, very short explanation, it's giving more detail, you know. Then from your navel chakra, Supreme Healer Ratnasambhava represented the Menagu, the oral transmission tantra. So all the richness of the healing transmission is in there. And then from the, can we go up a bit, please? From your secret chakra, must be, yeah? Thanks, yeah? From your secret chakra, Supreme Healer Amoghasiddhi revealed the last tantra. Okay, and the last tantra is many, Amoghasiddhi is like actions now, isn't it, yeah? So this is all explaining like, okay, like, I don't know, children's medicine, eye medicine, the practical details of healing, yeah? 10 minutes, okay? Okay, in 2 minutes we're going to start dedicating, thank you. And then from the 5 Supreme Healers at your 5 chakras manifested the 7 medicine Buddhas who transmitted the energy of healings. Okay, so this we'll talk about tomorrow, okay? Yeah? I think that's probably a good point to stop today, okay? So, all Rinpoche explaining it, Lama Rinpoche explained in an incredibly holistic way the Dharma. From Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, from there comes the 5 Dhyani Buddhas who are the healers of the emotions, yeah? And the 5 great mothers who are healing the 5 elements, yeah? If we understand that and this mandala design, which is related to the nature, to the environment, basically 90% we got, yeah? And then, okay, just a little more to understand, yeah? Okay, now it's coming like this idea of 7 chakras and healing the chakras, and there's 7 medicine Buddhas who made 44 specific promises to help our time, you know, to help the environment, to help famine, to overcome war, to bring peace, you know, all social problems that exist now, yeah. So in this sadhana, it's very beautiful and explains like very easily and nicely all these things, yeah. So the medicine Buddha cycle of teachings is incredibly rich, you know, there's all the actual practical application of healing, so many different kinds of therapy and meditation. Also, there's many kind of different healing practices. Also, it's a very powerful practice for the dead, actually, yeah. Like when I was in São Paulo, we have, in Lama Michel, no, he already built one stupa there together with our Sangha, beautiful stupa. And inside there, they're putting the ashes of many relatives of our Sangha, you know. So there's a beautiful medicine Buddha healing puja for the deceased. So we did that and we put the ashes of many, many, many people in there, yeah. Okay. I'm sure we have something planned for Albagnano, you know, in Sieme forever, you know. So anyway, so yeah. So it's incredibly deep and powerful, meaningful practice, the medicine Buddha, with many, many beautiful things to know, yeah, okay? So Rinpoche gave us this key, okay, let's do the mantra of the medicine Buddha together. Tayata Om, Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Maha Bekanze, Bekanze, Radza, Samugati, Bekanze, Soha. Tayata Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Maha Bekanze, Bekanze, Radza, Samugati, Bekanze, Soha. Tayata Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Maha Bekanze, Bekanze, Radza, Samugati, Bekanze, Soha. So anybody in the world is welcome to recite the mantra of the medicine Buddha, by the way. You don't even have to be a Buddhist, everybody's welcome to imagine that energy of healing at your heart going out and helping the others, yeah? Okay, so please feel free to use, yeah, okay? Then of course we have many levels, many initiation, many bodhisattva vow and this and that. Many levels of entering into this practice, of course, if you like. If not, anyway, welcome to say this mantra. Generally, this mantra is Tayata Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Maha Bekanze, Bekanze, Raja, Samugati Soha, but Lama Genshin Rinpoche, he had another Bekanze because he explained like this is actually a very special way from the yogic point of view, a little bit like kind of, not exactly pushing Buddha, but really invoking Buddha's blessing, you know, yeah? Okay, so he kindly gave us like, let's say, always the best, the most powerful, the most beautiful mantra, yeah, okay? So please feel free as much as you like these days to go around saying this mantra, Tayata Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Maha Bekanze, Bekanze, Radha, Samogati, Bekanze, Soha, all day long if you like, yeah, for yourself and for the others, yeah. And then bit by bit these days we try and learn how to do this sadhana, yeah, okay. Okay, so now we have 4 minutes left, so now we're going to dedicate, okay. So please, Geraldo, can we go to the dedications, please, yeah, okay. Yeah, so always at the beginning we try and do a good motivation, good wishes, you know, may I do this for the benefit of all beings. At the end we share and give away our positive energy for the benefit of all, yeah. We make many munlam, many good wishes for the healing and well-being of others, yeah, okay? Okay. Okay. At the end, please, okay? It's okay? Okay. First we touch our hand to our heart. Om Bhishwa Shanti Hu. Om Bhishwa Shanti Hu. Om Bhishwa Shanti Hu. Om Bhishwa Shanti Hu. Om Bhishwa Shanti. Du mi chi se ma to wana dei mola sangye men la ku se wa tone chi ta pel chonde chi me risin yu du topa Lama kuncho sulla kyab su chi Rani la sel donil sune cho Dona cho sunye cho da dando Ge cho kudu jishindo Dona di so nampa ge we so Jine sapane hinyu duda No bubanso shabala gene La mehela girimpata shisho Dona di sonampa gewe so Jine sapane hinyu duda Sangye menla shincho du gene La mehelangi rimpatash Jetsu la meku serap tenchin Nan katrile juju ge padan Lo san tempe dromesa sugi Drowe munsata tune gyuchi Shi de deponku serap tenchin Nan katrile juju ge padan Lo san tempe dromesa sugi Drowe munsata tune gyuchi Kia ke wa kuntu yanta lama dan Drel me chuki pela lon chuchin Sada lanki yonte razone Doje changi gopanyo Ke wa kuntu shide de pondan Drel me chuki pela lon chuchin Sada lanki yunte razone Shide de pongo panyo dusho Ajan Jusehem Johorim Poshe Ma ge pahana ge gyuchi Ge panyam pahame pahaya Gone he gone to pelwasho Shi desem jorim poshe Ma ge pahana ge gyuchi Ge panyam pahame pahaya Gone he gone to pelwasho Ni modele sendele Ni me koyandele shin Ni senta tu dele pel Kuncho sungi jingilo Kuncho sungi nedruso Concho sungi hitashisho All'alba, al tramonto, di notte durante il giorno, possono i tre gioielli concederci loro benedizioni, possono aiutarci a ottenere tutte le realizzazioni e cosparci il sentiero della nostra vita con molti segni di buono. Okay, thank you very much. Tomorrow, we find the Shantideva in Italian, English, different languages. Actually, we think Rinpoche was doing this like recently in the last few years, but actually, now I was reviewing the Medicine Buddha teaching, and actually right at the beginning, you know, when Rinpoche made the Medicine Buddha book, he wanted us to do the Shantideva prayer, you know. completely like coherent and consistent, you know. So please, tomorrow we find the Italian version and the English version, yeah? Okay? You know? Okay, so anyway, we do that tomorrow. So thank you all very much for participating. See you tomorrow, and we bit by bit we go through this practice together, yeah? Okay? And then, you know, and also there's many beautiful things that actually I forgot or I didn't understand, which now we put back inside in the sadhana, yeah? So now this will be like the definitive version of the sadhana, yeah? Yeah, so anyway. So thank you. So see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Buon appetito. See you all later. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.